away at the law, zeroing out the tax penalty for people who don't buy insurance, for example, and allowing companies to offer cheaper, skimpier insurance policies that don't meet Obamacare's requirements. A new report from White House economists says these moves have not destabilized the insurance market, as critics warned, and will, in fact, save money for both consumers and the government over the next decade. The economist did not dig deeply into who will get those savings. It's possible the administration's moves will save money for young, healthy consumers while increasing costs for older, sicker people. Scott Horsley, NPR News, Washington.
Before the close, the Dow is down 63 points. This is NPR. Members of the European Union have reached a compromise on a controversial Russian gas pipeline to Europe. NPR's Daniel Estrin reports from Berlin that the gas pipeline is expected to advance over the U.S.'s objections.
The pipeline being built would supply natural gas from Russia to Germany and other European countries. The U.S. wants the project scrapped out of concern that Europe could be too dependent on Russia for energy and Ukraine would lose out on gas revenues. Germany supports the pipeline project to help wean the country off coal. European Union members have been split on the issue, but in a vote today, EU countries approved a compromise that could make the pipeline harder and more expensive to build, but is not expected to threaten the project. Daniel Estrin, NPR News, Berlin.
British film and stage star Albert Finney has died at the age of 82. Jeff London reports on an extraordinary career that spanned more than 6 decades.
Born in a town near Manchester to a lower-middle-class family, Albert Finney traveled to London to study at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts and was in the same class as Peter O'Toole and Alan Bates. His first major film role came in 1960's Saturday Night and Sunday Morning, where he played an angry and sexy factory worker. He became an international film star as the rakish Tom Jones in 1963. Finney's career choices were varied. He starred as Hercule Poirot in Murder on the Orient Express, as Scrooge in a musical version of A Christmas Carol, as Churchill in The Gathering Storm. Finney was offered a knighthood in 2000, but turned it down. For NPR News, I'm Jeff London in New York.
And I'm Lakshmi Singh, NPR News.
Did you know you can ask Google Home to play NPR podcasts for you? It's easy. Just ask. Like, play the Fresh Air podcast. Use Google Home or Google Assistant to connect with your favorite shows anytime.
Welcome back to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The time is 5 minutes after the hour.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Paraversal Universe on WBHM Digital Broadcasting, also heard on WCET-FM and The Rift. We're your hosts, Kevin and Jennifer Malek. Before we get back to the show, we want to tell you all that we're on Twitter as the NWPS and MeWe as Paraversal Universe. Our like and group pages on Facebook are under various headings as well. Having said that, check out our Society's like page on Facebook, the Northern Wisconsin Paranormal Society Limited, as well as Jennifer's like page, Jennifer Malek, Psychic Demonologist. And there are a couple Facebook group pages that we want you to check out if you get a chance. One is the Ultimate Conspiracies group page, and the other is Lake Monstrosities group page for aquatic mysteries and wonders. Feel free to join them both. We would love to see you there. And there are also group pages for the networks that we mentioned. So you can join them as well. This segment is brought to you by the book Trail of the Sasquatch, The Shaman's Journey, by cryptozoologist and Iroquois shaman Don Young, who is a member of the NWPS and unfortunately is not with us today. But you can check out his Facebook group pages, Kindred Forests and Indigenous Americas. And also check out Gene Broida's new book, Unknown Objects, Top 10 U.S. UFO Cases.
Yeah, I have it on good authority that it's impossible to put down.
I will vouch for that.
It is. I will doubly vouch for that.
It was fun to write.
Tom is reading it. We're reading it.
Great.
Kat's probably reading it.
Kat's read it. Yeah.
Kat's read it.
waiting for those Amazon reviews, hopefully positive.
Yeah.
Definitely positive.
All right, so we're back. This is the Paralogian Report on Paraversal Universe. And the next article, I will hand the mic over to Tom, and he can enlighten us.
Thank you. The next article I found, it's from the Scientific America blog network, and it's written by a person, let me turn the page here, and he's Abraham Loeb, L-O-E-B, and he's the chair of the astronomy department of Harvard University, and founding director of Harvard's Black Hole Initiative and director of the Institute for Theory and Computation at the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics. He's also chair of the advisory board for the Breakthrough Starshot Project. And the name of the article is How to Search for Dead Cosmic Civilizations. And this intrigued me because I didn't think of it before, but it talks about this object that is sort of near the sun, and I think it was named by somebody from Hawaii because it's called Oumuamua. And it tells about that something, it came from a different part of the universe, except when it got closer to our sun, it changed trajectory. And they thought it might, one idea was that it was reminded people of one of those sails that you could use to maneuver in outer space because of the shape of the object. It's elongated. It is more elongated than any known asteroid in the solar system. But most intriguing is the fact that Oumuamua deviated from the orbit one would have expected based on the sun's gravitational field. Although such deviation could be associated with the rocket effects associated by outgassing due to heating of water or ice by the sun, there was no sign of any cometary tail behind this object. And calculations imply, contrary to observation, that its spin period should have changed significantly by any cometary torque. Might have been an artificial engine, even if it happened to be a piece of natural rock, as indicated by its lack of radio transmission. This rock appeared to be very unusual for many counts. The discovery of that object should motivate us to keep searching for interstellar debris in the solar system. Interstellar objects may not be strictly one-time visitors. A small fraction of them may get trapped by the gravitational fishing net cast by the Sun and Jupiter. Objects passing close enough to Jupiter could lose orbital energy through their gravitational intersection and stay bound to the solar system subsequently. Indeed, an asteroid occupying an orbit indicated of such origin was identified recently in a retrograde orbit around Jupiter. In other words, some objects from other parts of the universe could come and lodge in that area in our solar system where it's possible that we could be able to examine them by satellites going by, etc. Although these represent a tiny minority of all the asteroids or comets in the solar system, their interstellar origin can be identified based on the unusual orbits around Jupiter, or in the case of comets, through their distinct extrasolar isotope abundance of oxygen detectable by spectroscopic observation of their comet tail. Now you know why I know this guy was an astronomer. He has that type of language when he writes some things. But basically, the whole idea to me of being able to, find space junk and find out it could be some piece of equipment or some type of machine that was completely used eons ago, but happened to pass through our solar system and was identified as such because of the special orbit that happens with those pieces. And if we can find ways to examine them, it might be another way to find proof that we're not alone in the universe. So that's what this article was about. So I thought it was really interesting that we don't always have to depend on, proof of extraterrestrials by finding, being able to identify them through the means we have on Earth. But it's a possibility that we could find archaeological objects out there in space that would confirm that we're not alone. So what's everybody think about this one?
Well, I guess I'll go first. Yes, that's if there is life out there, and I believe there is. The math alone, when you do the math on the odds of other life out there, there's to me anyways, there's no doubt that you would think, and us as sentient beings, we have garbage and trash and or just things that don't get used after a period of time, and you'd figure other civilizations may have the same kind of things. I also lately there have been, there's been mysterious objects, around the moon and around the sun both, and some of these objects that we've seen or that we have on video, I should say, I can't imagine how they can get so close to the sun without disintegrating or burning up, and yet every once in a while there will be something that will fly right by that nobody can explain. And a lot of times I'm sure it happens way more than we see. I would bet money on it, but every once in a while one will get past them, being the mortal powers.
I want to get back to Tom's article because this was covered in December of 2017 by astronomical researchers like me, and I wrote an article on this for the Daily Conspiracy called Space Rock or Alien Spaceship. And this needle-shaped object, termed an asteroid, was identified first in Hawaii at the University Observatory there. Hua'muamua is how you say the name in Hawaiian. Hua'muamua. Isn't that beautiful? And it means a messenger sent from the distant past to reach out to us, meaning it took a long time for this rock or whatever it is to get here from wherever it came from. And it grazed the outer solar system. So we first picked it up on our sensors December, well, probably a little before December, but late fall of 2017. And this guy Loeb at Harvard is a Johnny-come-lately to the party. This is old news. He's trying to rocket his fame on a story that's never going to be resolved because this needle-like object, I'm quoting here, it didn't move like comets or asteroids normally do. And it also had a very strange orbit. Here's another quote. The cigar-shaped object is so rare that the International Astronomical Union has had to come up with a new cataloging system. This is incredible. And it's been dismissed. This space needle has been dismissed as as just another natural phenomenon. And maybe it is, but certainly there is room for skepticism here.